Now, another thing we love to do on this programme is to shine a light on extraordinary people doing good in their communities. And today we're looking at the Bright Star Academy. It's an award-winning charitable organisation, but it uses boxing and education to empower vulnerable people to make positive changes to their lives. Ronnie and Stephen are two young men who've been helped by Bright Star, and this is their experience.
So at home, as I was saying, I was quite angry, so every time I got annoyed, it'll make my family more angry as well, and there was a lot of arguments. But as I come to boxing a lot more, I started calming down, and then home life just started getting a lot easier without any arguments involved. Before, I didn't really like many people. I wasn't comfortable with speaking to a lot of people at the same time. But coming to the amateur sessions and the future programme, my confidence just went straight up because there's a lot of people around me trying to help me.
If it wasn't for them, I'd just be lost. But when I come in and I can take my anger out on a bag, and then one of my coaches will sit down next to me and ask me how my day's been, it means the world. Because they don't have to do that. They just get taught. They get paid to teach me how to box. They don't get paid to sit next to me and tell me how I'm doing. They do that out of their own kindness. And that kindness is something that reaches out to you, even when you're in the dark and you don't want that stuff. It still comes out to you, and that's what gives the family feeling, because only your family members do that.
They just get paid to teach me to box. They don't get paid to be kind. The kindness comes as a bonus. Wow. Let's talk now to Joe Lockley, founder of Bright Star Academy. Great to see you. The reviews speak for themselves, but I was literally bowled over by what those two young guys had to say for themselves. Before we come to talk about what you've done, how did it actually begin?
Yeah, that's a good question, really, because most people see a kind of a stigma around boxing, so you wouldn't expect young people like the ones we're working with to be able to really receive them benefits. So how it began was we had some young people in the local area that really needed a positive intervention. They were going down the wrong path in life, and we wanted to give them something different. Myself and my friends, we've both been in positions before where we can receive that benefit from boxing. He's really struggled to manage his mental health. And we knew that with something positive, rather than all the negative things going towards them, we could offer something different. So it started off, not even a boxing club, not even anything else around that, just holding the pads for these young people, and developing that relationship, that trust with them young people, giving them that feeling of belonging, achieved so much more than we ever thought we could. So that's how it really grew and started expanding. And that's where the kind of charitable side of the boxing really started to work. And that's where it really flowed. And, the first 4 years when it was in development, everyone was doing it voluntary because they really loved seeing the benefit, and that's kind of met a need for us as well as for the young people.
Sure. How difficult was it to explain to people that boxing, the noble art, as it were, that you weren't training potential thugs to become more effective thugs, but you were actually using the discipline and the focus of boxing to discipline and focus those young minds?
It's still a challenge. It is still a challenge. There is a stigma around boxing where, we've got a lot of people, we work a lot in schools, a lot of the young people or a lot of the parents or even teachers will say, we don't want you teaching our son to box, or we don't want you teaching this young person to box because they'll use it in the wrong way. They'll use it against people. And actually, as you saw from Steve's story there, we teach young people, if they react on emotion in boxing, they're going to get hurt. And that's exactly the same as in life. If they react on just pure emotion, that they're going to get hurt. So that's where we start to learn to control their emotions. And we've got a number of different programs that talk around that. But that is still the challenge. There is a big stigma around boxing that needs to be removed. So we can start to help more people get that benefit. And we have people that, they're really struggling with anxiety, with depression. They're too scared to walk into a boxing club because they associate it with that stigma too. So that's why we developed the programs to really stop them seeing that, stopping them having that barrier in place.
Yeah. And I picked up on what both Ronnie and Stephen, but particularly Stephen, said there before we came to talk to you. And that is almost subtly, they're learning discipline as well, self-control. They've got to do what you, the trainer, instructs them to do and guides them to do. They've got to do what the referee tells them to do when they're actually in the ring. It's not reading the riot act. It's just a way of life that you have to adhere to rules and good stuff happens.
100%. I think that all comes down to the way we're working with them. I think if we show them a lot of respect, they will to us too. And we've got young people that, They've struggled a lot with control. We've got a lot of young people that struggle a lot with authority. We've been able to help them form their relationships, help them build trust with professionals. And that's what really is able to help them develop that discipline, that respect that you see alongside boxing or alongside anything really. I think if we can start to form that relationship, form that trust, give them that sense of belonging, then we can help them make them right choices.
Joe, I wish you all the success in the world. I support a riding charity called the Ebony Horse Club, which does similar stuff with similar people, but with GGs rather than gloves. And I know it works. Lovely to talk to you, and give our best wishes to Ronnie, Stephen and the rest of the gang.